What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for coming back for another video. I know that they're so far spaced apart, but thank you to those who are actually watching this one. This is gonna kind of be like a confession video. I felt like a situation that I went through years ago. I needed to talk about it because I felt like there was some good lessons in it that people who watch my videos could maybe benefit from, and maybe I can kind of stop somebody from going down the same path that I went down. I have a little bit of reservation just because of who may see the video, but I'll preface and say this is my truth. This is how I felt at the time, and I'm not a spokesperson for all men. I'm not a spokesperson for all guys, and I don't have all the answers, and I don't do everything that a typical guy does. I think I said that in another video. I'm not your average guy, so you can take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. You can take it however you want it. But I wanted to talk about the experiences I had of going through my ex's phone and everything that led up to that, and the lesson that I learned out of looking through somebody's phone. So let me first start off and say, again, this was just my experience with it. This is my truth. If you ask her, the story may be a little bit different, but this is my truth, and it is what it is. All right, so when I was a sophomore, maybe. I think when I was a sophomore in college, when I was a junior in college, I met the ex that I'm speaking about right now. Not gonna say any names, of course. And we talked, which is what people say now. We talked for like a week. It didn't really last that long, and she was cool, but I think I had some other stuff going on. She was still wrapped up in a situation, and the situation was that the week prior to us going out on a date, she had just had sex with her ex. So for me, in my mind, me being the type of guy that I am, I'm thinking, okay, you just had sex with somebody, so that means you still have feelings for them. At that time, I wasn't really aware that people were out having sex with people without having any feelings attached. You know, I just thought that was what was supposed to happen. You're supposed to have feelings for the person you have sex with, but no, that ain't what happened. People do it to whomever they want to, whatever they want to. And I was in college, like I said, undergraduate school, and I was young and didn't really know anything. And as far as my sexual history and my sexual past, I'm not getting into that in this video, but just know that clearly, if I was doing it, I wasn't doing it to nobody that I didn't have feelings for. So I'm thinking, okay, you are still in a situation. So fast forward through time, we start talking again later that year, maybe like months later. And this is how the whole me having a trust issue with her all began. We were sitting in bed one time, and she was texting. I was watching TV. She was literally sitting beside me, and I saw that she was just having a conversation with somebody. And I'm the type of guy that I'm not gonna question what you're doing or if there's something that you're hiding unless you give me a reason to question you or question that you have something to hide. And I'm the type of guy who just out of curiosity, if I'm with you and I see that you're texting somebody in a lengthy conversation, I'm just gonna ask you, oh, who you texting? And it's not me being evasive, it's not me trying to be in your business, it's not me wondering like, are you texting a dude? At that moment, it definitely was not that. It was completely innocent. And I asked her, I said, who you texting? Because I see that you're having a long conversation. And she either said no one, which was a lie, or she gave me a name that did not correspond with the name that I had already saw. So I'm the type of person that I'm gonna get an answer before I even ask you the question. So while she was texting, I had glanced over and I could see the name, and I saw what letter the name started with. And whatever it was that her answer was did not match what that name started with. So I'm like, oh, okay. Red flag number one. Message. If ever there's a moment where a red flag comes up in any kind of situation that you're with or in any kind of relationship, you need to nip that ish in the bud and take care of it at that moment and not brush it under the rug. You need to address it, and if it can't be addressed and if it can't be handled, move on right then. Red flags are red for a reason. They're not white, they're not green, they're not pink. They are red for a reason. They're there to say, hey, something's not right about this situation. You might not want to proceed. Me, being young and naive, not gonna say dumb and stupid because I definitely wasn't that, but I was definitely young and I was definitely naive. I said, okay, you don't want to tell me, I'll go find out for myself. So I got her phone. I had saw her password enough times to know what it was. Got her phone, went to the phone just to see who the person was, because I could tell there was a guy's name. Saw who the guy's name was. Saw who the guy's name was. And I believe I asked her about it. I remember I specifically said, okay, so you lied to me. You told me you weren't talking to this person, or you were talking to the expert. You lied. And I said, okay, I went to your phone and I saw who you were really texting. And I saw what y'all were talking about. He had texted her asking her, did she want to come over and spend the night? Problem number one, why is somebody asking you if you want to come and spend the night if you're supposedly talking, dating me? Why? And why wasn't your response after that? No, period. Didn't think you needed an explanation to tell somebody that. But I'm young and naive, so. I decide in that moment when she comes clean, confesses, doesn't even lie about it because she was caught red-handed. I decide, okay, I'm gonna give this another chance. I'm gonna give this another try, and I'm gonna see what happens and see if I can make this work. So we start our relationship, but all along, I'm getting all of these red flags that keep popping up that are really saying to me, Travis, you need to move on and leave this situation alone because you are not meant to be with this person. That in my heart is what those red flags mean. Our relationship lasted over 2 years, and I honestly, to this day, and I know this may hurt her feelings if she were to ever see this video, but I feel like I kind of, in a sense, wasted 2 years of my life. And I'll say that I didn't waste it because I learned something, but I feel like I was not supposed to be with her. And I've said that to anybody, and that's not anything that I'm trying to hide. I feel like I was not supposed to date her to this day because of these red flags. And I feel like there were so many moments when God was trying to tell me, this is not what you want, this is not even what you need. Because clearly we're not together today, and I can't really say that the relationship benefited me or enhanced me a whole lot. So come to find out, my people, the guy that she was texting who asked her to come spend the night was a guy that she used to fool around with. He lived on the floor above me in my apartment complex. I didn't even live on campus. This is an apartment complex away from the school. I lived on the second floor. He lived on the third floor. And you want to know how I found out? Because I came out my apartment one day and saw him. And then that's when she wanted to say, oh yeah, he lived up there. And when you brought me to your place for the first time, I didn't want to say anything. Message number 2. If there's something that you need to tell the person that you're dating, tell them immediately. Don't try to hold that kind of stuff back because that can really affect how your relationship is going to play out. That's something she could have said early on, which wouldn't have added to the pile of trust issues that I had. Something else that added to my issues with trust. I'm big on wanting to know how many people you have been with. I don't really have an issue telling you how many of mine is because mine is on one hand. So I would like to know how many people you've been with, because if we're going to be in a relationship and if we're going to engage in sexual activity, I want to know what your past looks like. It's not even about if you're clean or not, but it's just about, I want to know how many people you've been with. So anytime that I'm actually dating a female, when I'm getting to know you, that when we get to that point in conversation, that's going to be one of the questions that I ask you is how many sexual partners have you had? Because sexual health is very big if you're going to be sexually active. That's something that you should be asking people. And at that time, she told me 5 or 6. She told me 6, 5 or 6, one of those two. She told me 5. I found out about number 6 because, let me just say, after that whole issue with the guy that was above me and she was texting and she used to fool around with, the reason why he asked her to come spend the night was because he was leaving to go out of town. He was moving or something. I guess they wanted one last fun-filled night or something. I don't know. But ever since that moment, I always had trust issues with her, and that was like early on in the relationship. And so I just made it a habit of checking her phone and looking at stuff. And so fast forward a couple months, we break up for 2 days. You know, we were just going through a lot, and it was just so much going on in that relationship. That relationship just seemed so toxic in hindsight. But we broke up for It wasn't even a full 48 hours, y'all. We broke up like one night, got back together, not the next day, but like the next day, like during the day. So it wasn't even a full 48 hours. And then I went through her phone again. Found out that in that less than 48 hour period, she had slept with somebody else. Now, granted, we weren't together, but you just got out of a relationship. You just got out of a relationship that spanned some time, and you were able to sleep with somebody. Now again, this is me thinking that people don't have sex without feelings and all that kind of stuff. But you had sex with somebody, and the person that you had sex with was a guy who you call your brother. Message, thing number 3. I don't understand why females do that. Why do you refer to a guy that you're having sexual relationships with as your brother to other males as if the relationship is innocent when it really isn't? Why not just call a spade a spade? Call a thing, people. Found out that she had sex with him, and he was not one of the 5 that I originally found out about. So then your number goes up to 6, which means you lied about how many men you had slept with in the beginning. So then comes this conversation of, what would you say if I said that I've been with 19 people? What? Huh? Have you? She had. 19 was the actual number that I did not know about until way later on. Message! Point number 4. Please be careful with the people that you are out here giving yourself to. Make sure you try to get as many facts as you can. Now there are some situations where people are gonna lie just like that, and you don't really know what's what, but at least just make sure you get tested and make sure everything is in working condition and good before you decide to go there with people, because some people just might not tell you the truth like her. And I found out, and I know that the reason why she didn't tell me that she had really been with 19 people was because she knew that that was gonna drive me away. But that was my choice to make, I felt. I felt like if I wanted to not deal with you because you had been with more men than I thought that you should have at that time, that should have been my decision to make. You took away my choice to make a decision about if I wanted to even get to know you because of the number of guys that you had been with. And to be honest with you, had she told me she'd been with that many men, I probably would not have given her the time of day. Because for me to be the age that I was, for me to be 21, and you're 2 years younger than me, and you've been with that many people, that's damn near a person to every year you've been on this earth almost. You know, granted, you know, most of them were probably one night stands maybe or something like that, but to me that was a lot. I honestly value my body as a temple, and I only gave it to people, and I only give it to people who are worth my time. But that's a whole nother video at a whole nother time. So I felt some type of way because now that I found that you done lied to me about how many people you've been with. And then I went through her phone again, and this was pretty much like the last time I did it before we split up. I went her phone and saw that while we were together, she was texting number 6, just to refer to him in the story. She was texting him about their sexual experience. Like they were texting each other about it. Like she was talking about how, I don't want to say too much in this video because I don't want this video to get flagged. They were talking about stuff that a female in a relationship should not be texting about to another guy. If you're in a relationship, you should not be texting anybody about what you used to do with them or what you still may have been doing to them. But they were talking about some pretty inappropriate things. And to this day, she still does not know that I saw those text messages unless she's watching this video. Surprise. That was kind of like, okay, what have I really gotten myself into? I've spent all this time trying to make a relationship work with somebody who really just, maybe really loves sex, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you may want it with several people and you just can't be with me, and that's how you're rolling. I say all that to say, if you go looking for something, you're probably gonna find what you were looking for, and it's probably not gonna be something you wanna see. So be mindful of that when you decide to go through the person that you're with, when you decide to go through their stuff or the snoop. That's number 1. But also you need to ask yourself, why am I even tempted to go through their stuff? Am I tempted to go through their stuff because of me, or am I tempted to go through their stuff because of them? Are they doing something that's making me suspicious, or am I insecure? And for me, it was definitely not even about insecurity. I was definitely confident with who I am and secure with who I was. She was just doing stuff that made me question what she was telling me. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Thank you for those who said bless you. So ask yourself those questions before you start going through somebody's stuff. And if you feel like you need to, you may want to get out of that relationship. There's no point in being in any kind of relationship where you have to fact check and go behind somebody's back and look through their stuff just to see if they're telling the truth. Because trust me, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to go through all of that. I learned so much from that relationship, and I hope y'all did too. And I feel like I didn't even tell y'all everything I wanted to tell y'all, because I already see that I'm already at almost 18 minutes without editing. This story can be so much longer. But that is one situation where I just knew I was never supposed to go down that road. I was never supposed to go down that road. And I did it anyway, being hard-headed. And I ain't gonna say, I ain't gonna say that. But after I got out, everybody around me started telling me how they really felt about it. And I was like, thanks for telling me now. You could have told me this a little bit earlier. So, hope you learned something from this lesson, even though it was all over the place. Trust is so big. And it really is. I heard Lady Gaga say it in that video. Trust is like a broken mirror. You can put it together. You can put a broken mirror back together, but you still gonna see the cracks in it. And that's true. Once you lose somebody's trust, once you break somebody's trust, it's so hard to get it back. So all I can give y'all on advice as far as that is to do what you say you're gonna do, and require that of the person that you're with. And if the person that you're with is not doing what they say they're gonna do, leave. Because if they can't respect you enough to hold up to their words, it's pointless. It probably won't go anywhere. It might, but why even be in a situation where you have to wonder? You're worth more than that. Message! I'm worth more than that. And trust me, I know that now. Glad I got that off my chest. Y'all have a good day. Maybe I'm about to record another video. I don't know. I wish I had some suggestions. Thought about doing pop culture, but before I start the ramble, y'all take it easy. Thank you so much for watching these videos, and make sure you come back, subscribe, hit the like button, thumbs up button, and I'll talk to y'all soon.